Time to do the job. Time to do the job! Behold the jobber of jobbers. Daniel Jobber.
What's up, everybody? This is the D-Job, Daniel Jobber, here with the NXT Takeover Brooklyn 3 short preview prediction show. This should be a pretty short video, as it's a fairly simple card, 5 matches, which is quite appropriate for a 2-hour show. But shouldn't be a lot of major surprises. I think it'll really be up to the talent to carry this card. And it is a pretty talented roster on this card, so it should be pretty interesting. Of course, the rumors of Adam Cole being in present tonight, the new signee of the WWE. At this card, whether he'll be involved in it or just there to watch, of course, is the question. I'll have a few thoughts on that in a bit here. So let's get right to the matches, because it don't need to take a long time on this one. First off, we have Johnny Gargano, formerly from DIY, with, of course, Tommaso Ciampa injured for quite a long time from the sound of things, versus Andrade Cien Almas, with Zelina Vega in his corner. Zelina Vega, of course, has been a new valet. He's been manager, basically, that's been trying to build up his popularity, and I think he's on a really big push right now. As much as it would be nice to see Johnny Gargano get back into action since his partner has been injured, I don't know if there's much reason to believe that Andrade Cien Almas, and with help, maybe a little help from Zelina Vega, won't pull out the victory here and start to really build his push, because, I mean, I doubt they would pair him with Zelina Vega, a talented an experienced female performer like this, to just have him, job out to the likes of Johnny Gargano. So, yeah, I would say Almas is pretty much a shoo-in in this match. Then we have Aleister Black versus Hideo Itami. And this one, I think I know what's going to happen, but it's kind of pains my heart to say. But as much as Hideo Itami really deserves a push and a chance to really shine, and of course the crowd will be behind him, after all the injuries he's faced over the years, he did have the title match in the last pay-per-view, and I think hopefully he'll have another title match down the road. I hope that wasn't just a one-off. But Aleister Black is in a really big push right now. They're trying to build him up, and there's a huge need for guys like Aleister Black, heels, to move up. So I'm pretty sure Aleister Black's going to come up with a victory over Itami. It should be a pretty good match, though. And I'm sure Itami will tease or come close to getting a go-to-sleep on him, and should be interesting anyways. We'll see how that pans out, but definitely think Aleister Black's going to be victorious here. Then we have AOP, the Authors of Pain, with Paul Ellering in their corner, versus Sanity. And from the sound of things, it's going to be Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf in the actual match. And I guess Eric Young will be with just their extra, or their valet in the corner person. Which kind of surprises me that Eric Young's not in there, but I guess Eric Young is kind of the singles performer anyways. He's going to be the guy that, has the singles matches to lead the team, and I guess obviously managing the big guy, Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf. I mean, Killian Dane could also be a heck of a singles performer too, being such a big fella, but him and Wolf do make a lot of sense. So they are the other two male members of Sanity. I imagine that Nikki Cross will probably be present as well. And it should be a good match, and I know a lot of people feel this way. I'm not making any ridiculous bold prediction, but I think the Authors of Pain are heavily needed on the main roster right now in the very weak tag team divisions for Raw and SmackDown. And this is probably as good a time as any for them to drop the titles and start the road to the main roster. Typically, they're going to start somebody on the main roster after an event like SummerSlam. And so why not the Authors of Pain and Paul Ellering, which will do a really big addition to the tag team roster, probably on Raw, I would think, but you never know. They could consider SmackDown as well, which is really, really weak in the tag team division. So yeah, and of course Sanity really needs a push too. They've been really tearing it up as heels. They're fun to watch. They're exciting, and of course the fact that they're heel enough to out-heel the Authors of Pain in their last NXT shows to actually make this match exciting. And I was really skeptical when I did a little simulation of it, but then when I actually watched these guys perform in the last NXT show, I realized even though they're two sort of heel tag teams, this is going to actually be a one heck of a match, and I think Sanity's one heck of a tag team to help carry on the NXT tag team titles in the division, and I think the Authors of Pain are better suited right now, or better served, helping to rebuild the weak tag team divisions of Raw and SmackDown. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf to win the tag team titles. Whether there'll be any kind of encounter between Eric Young and Paul Ellering, who knows whether Eric Young will interfere, Paul Ellering will try to interfere. But I'm picking Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane to become the new NXT Tag Team Champions. So we'll see if that pans out. Then, of course, we have as far as I'm understanding correctly, she's the most undefeated street wrestler of all time, passing Goldberg's streak and any other streak that's ever been recorded in professional wrestling history. I guess Andre the Giant, 15 years. Which really wasn't, because he'd never been pinned in 15 years, but he had lost some matches by disqualification, technically. But yeah, they officially had Andre the Giant as 15 years undefeated. I don't know if they recorded the number of matches, but in Asuka's number of recorded matches won without a loss at NXT, my understanding is she's being recognized as the longest undefeated wrestler in is it wrestling history? I'm not sure. Correct me on that. Feel free to give me some information on that. I know people have talked about Asuka's amazing undisputed streak. And of course, as of now, she's also the longest-serving champion in wrestling modern times, or at least WWE wrestling modern times. The only people who had longer runs were Hulk Hogan and Bruno Sammartino and the likes of them. So yeah, she's got a lot behind her, and a lot might want to say that Asuka is ready for the main roster, and of course she really could be, but with the main women's roster being pretty solid and not really having a good spot where she might be able to shine, and Ember Moon just coming off an injury at the last pay-per-view, being unable to perform, and just finally getting back into action here. As much as a title change could make sense, I don't think Ember Moon is ready. I think that's what it comes down to. Is Ember Moon ready to lead the women's tag team division as champion? And I don't think she's ready yet. I think it's probably going to drag on to the WrestleMania pay-per-view in Dallas, or wherever they decide to have it. I think probably Dallas. So yeah, I'm going with Asuka to retain here. Said it could easily see her be ready for the main roster, and I mean, she may be able to debut on the main roster and have some matches while being NXT champion. But yeah, I think she's going to retain over Ember Moon. Ember Moon still has some work to do, coming off her injury, to become the top lady in the division, especially babyface lady. So yeah, Asuka retains for the time being. And finally, the NXT Championship, the glorious Bobby Roode defending against Drew McIntyre, the big Scotsman. And yeah, that's going to be one heck of a match. Drew McIntyre is going to have a huge crowd behind him, as does Bobby Roode, because everyone seems to really admire Bobby Roode's glorious persona that he has. And I mean, I really think Bobby Roode is one of the best NXT champions we've had in years. I mean, some might argue for Shinsuke Nakamura, but Bobby Roode is just killing it as NXT champion. And so I think he's the best champion we've had in years, and I don't see it ending here. There really isn't a need for him on the main roster. I haven't heard of any plans for him on the main roster. Probably if anything, he'll debut after WrestleMania as well. So, yeah, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't retain over Drew McIntyre. I don't see Drew McIntyre victory having much benefit here, especially with Roderick Strong about to take on Bobby Roode as well after this match in the next NXT show, I believe. So yeah, Bobby Roode retains the NXT Championship here in an amazing match against Drew McIntyre. I think all these performers are just going to totally rip this card up with maybe only one title change. It won't be a card with many surprises. I think it'll just be solid wrestling. You know, the fans will be in Brooklyn will be huge into this. It's going to be a really exciting card. And so once again, just to recap my predictions, I have Andre Chien Almas with Zelina Vega going over Johnny Gargano. I have Aleister Black with the victory over Hideo Itami. I have the Authors of Pain, AOP, losing the Tag Team Championship to Sanity. Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf. I have Asuka retaining the NXT Women's NXT Women's Championship against Ember Moon. And I have the glorious Bobby Roode with a glorious victory to retain the NXT Championship versus Drew McIntyre. And that's the entire card. There's not supposed to be any matches on the pre-show. If they did, it'd be a surprise. I'm not sure what matches they would be. So anyways, that's NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Simple card, simple show. It's going to be great. Look forward to that tonight. Once again, this is Daniel Jobber, bringing you the Jobbing Out with Daniel Jobber NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3 short preview prediction show. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Daniel Jobber, capital D, capital J, and on Instagram under Daniel Jobber, all lowercase. And of course, make sure you check me out in the Edmonton Sports Podcast Network for my Jobbing Out with Daniel Jobber 205 Live and WWE preview prediction show, which is coming up in the next couple of days, this week's episode. So anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. Hope you enjoy the card tonight, and we also look forward to SummerSlam on Sunday. Jobber out!
Time to do the job. Time to do the job! Behold the jobber of jobbers. Daniel Jobber.